We have all the interests which we had in the individual plane, but we do not grab things to ourselves. We know the danger of it. We begin to give and then take. This is the stage of personality, and it occurs in our evolution when we are taking a nice jump from the mind to the will level. It is the intermediary stage between the mental plane and the buddhic plane, that is personality plane. Civilizations develop very high, but all the virtues will be a burden to our mind, not a play. They are not sweet. All my behavior from morning to evening with you, my smile and my polite way of doing things, they cause great tension to my nerves and mind, because there is everything artificial in my way of doing things. It is to market my virtues, I am applying my virtues. So on the personality level, every good behavior will be a torture, and it will be painful, but we bear with the pain. We prefer to live successfully, popularly, with all our virtues. And sometimes we crumble. We find that it is useless to live a virtuous life. And then we rebel against the world once again. And there will be a strong rebuff and a retreat into the individual plane of consciousness. So after 10 or 15 years of polite and virtuous life, sometimes we may be talking of God also, and meditation and some good things. And sometimes we may be talking of charity and humanity and brotherhood, all with the hope that our talk will be recognized by others and our virtues will be reciprocated by others. Sometimes we are disappointed. After 20 or 30 years of wastage of virtues, we find sometimes that all the virtues are only mental obsessions of some weak fellows, rather mental symptoms of hysterics, and then we recede into the individual plane. We see such cases also. People living a pious life for about 10 or 20 or 30 years, finding that everything is useless, and then they go into the individual requirements, begin to live a life for appetites only. That means he has to take another chance to come into the personality level and have his own evolution in the personality level once again. Just as the student who failed in his examinations in the March, he should take his chance in the September in the same examinations. So the evolution of the personality once again awaits him. But that does not mean that virtues are useless. He practiced virtues with some profiteering motive, and since virtues are not for profiteering motive, since the purpose of virtues is quite different, it starts with the fifth plane of existence. On the fourth plane, it is only a practice of virtues. Between third and fourth planes, it is only a preliminary practice with commercial motives. So, the next step is to start life impersonal. After some great burden of virtues and polite way of doing things and commercializing the polite way of living, human being discovers that virtues are not for big strain and burden. There is something there which is called satisfaction. And he understands that satisfaction has nothing to do with others' opinions. He discovers that he has to find out what others require and not what others think about him. Previously, he used to care what others think about him. Now he begins to care what others require from him, not for any reciprocal motive, but for the pleasure of it. He understands that there is great pleasure in doing something useful to others. To make us taste this for the first time, nature has arranged the relationship of parent and the child and wife and husband, which are not only there in the human kingdom, but also there in the animal and bird and fish kingdoms, in the insect kingdoms and the plant kingdoms also. The relationship between husband and wife is not only restricted to the human kingdom, and the relationship between mother and child and father and child are not restricted only to the human kingdom. So these are the relations that are prescribed by nature to the living beings for the sacred purpose of making us taste something new which helps us in the higher evolution. That is, feeling happy when others are happy. That starts with the parent when he observes the child. See, when the child is eating, the parent is enjoying. That is how it starts. Before that, the husband is enjoying when the wife is eating, and the wife is enjoying when the husband is eating, and then both of them enjoy when the child is eating. That is how nature has prescribed the syllabus for this student whom you call the traveler through evolution. The course is called evolution, and the university is the universe. And it is never impatient with us, nor are the professors of this university. The professors of this university are the professors of the Deva kingdom, whom we call the intelligences working in nature. They are never impatient with any one of us. They never penalize us for anything, even though we commit many faults for 100 times. And they are never angry with any one of us, though sometimes we misunderstand them like that. For example, when we are in the third plane of consciousness, we attribute causes to many external entities whenever we suffer. When I am not required by my friends, I criticize my friends as useless fellows. And when I have a long-standing disease causing pain to me, I many times speak of the planets in the horoscope that my Saturn is afflicted, my Mars is opposite to my Saturn, therefore these two fellows are the cause of my disease. It is all foolish. Soon this aspect goes away from our mind when we once just enter into the fourth kingdom, the kingdom of will. Whenever we have any pain, we understand that we have defaulted with something or other. Maybe with the food or with the drink. Maybe with the work or sleep or sex. With something or other, we have defaulted. The law of nature is there, which has no compromise with anyone, because it is too benevolent to allow any compromises. Had it accepted any compromises with great people, it would have inherited all the evils of the governments we are having now. You see how man-made government is much miserable than the natural government. What happens when the railway train is stopped everywhere for a very great man? When the prescribed time for the railway train is not strictly adhered to, there is no use of the train at all. All people should suffer. No one knows at what o'clock the train starts. Same thing happens if nature begins to compromise with anyone. But nature is too benevolent and it never allows compromises because it never allows itself to inconvenience anyone. If anyone is inconvenienced by his own defaultation, nature is not responsible. Then we come to understand that we are the cause of our misery in whichever plane it may be. No one can be the cause of our happiness or unhappiness. That is the one truth we come to understand when we cross the fourth plane of existence. And then our procedure is rectification, not of others but of ourselves. And never the rectification is painful when we are in the fourth plane. On the third plane, sometimes we begin the same thing in the name of rectification, but we inconvenience ourselves and others many times. We torture ourselves by holy fasts. We think we are threatening God. And many times we try to put our physical and mental vehicles to great inconvenience in the name of holy practices or rectification or purification. But all those things go a waste because God never asked us to torture us. He is all love and He is all happiness, and He is the same as what we call the seventh plane of existence, the Mahaparanirvanic plane. When spoken in terms of our consciousness, it is called the Mahaparanirvanic plane. When spoken of itself, it is what we call God the Absolute. So, it is love and it is sympathy. What we call God is beauty and ease and happiness. He created us in love. He inherited us with all that is fertile and beautiful. He has created the earth and the heaven, the seed and its fertility, the rain, the sunrise and the clouds, and He has created days and nights. He never created bad days and good days. The human being with his behavior created sometimes bad days and sometimes good days. When we do something good, it is good day because we experience the result of it. When we do something bad, when we are taken by the police, it is bad day because we made the day bad. Except that God never created any bad days. God never created any hell or any sin, and He never wants to throw any one of us into hell. All that greatness and credit goes to the human being. To create hell is the greatness of the human being, and to throw himself into the hell is the greatness of the human being. Man created devil, God created man, and God created the universe. And no wonder man created devil and hell. But God is the least affected because everyone is expected to clean his own hell created by himself and kill the devil created by himself. The God is under no obligation to kill the devil for us. So, all these things we understand when we are in the fourth plane of our living. From the personality level, we begin to grow to the impersonal level. From the level of knowing my appetite and your appetite, we begin to know appetite as a need. It becomes impersonal, and we will try to satisfy it whether it is for ourselves or others, because only appetite remains in our mind as a need, and my appetite and your appetite is not there in the mind. Same thing with every need. For example, house. You will have only the need of a house. And in your mind, it is not your house or others' house. Such a change takes place when you step into the nirvanic plane of existence. Then, when all the others, many people are in the lower plane, how is it possible to live with the impersonal values for us? That is a genuine doubt. When all people have their own houses, when you have house only, not your house, is it not true that others occupy your house? When all people have their own money, if you earn and have only money, not your money, is it not true that others take away your money? This is a genuine doubt which we will get when we are in the third plane and when we falsely imagine that we are crossing the fourth plane. We will get all these doubts. And once again, we begin to recede into our old ways of doing. We talk to ourselves and say, no doubt, we should be virtuous, but we should be careful also. We should be selfish as much as the other person is selfish, not more than that. Like that, we begin to have our own individual and personal ways of living. And when you are really crossing the fourth plane and entering into the fifth plane, you will never meet with such doubts, because you are sure of the result of your virtue. The result is neither to yourself nor to the other person, but it is to do our duty and complete our action in this world. Whenever we do something good, we stop thinking that it is for the good of others. We understand that it is for our own liberation we are doing it and for our own betterment. If I am asked to work in an infirm school and spend money over people who are lame, deaf and dumb, there are two ways of thinking at it. I may rejoice that I am helping so many infirm people. See what a useful work it is. It is very good that I am useful for so many people. That is how we think when we begin our training in the third stage of existence. It is good because it is a good incentive for us to begin the work. In the beginning stages, unless we have the incentives that many people are being benefited by us, we never begin to do good things. But after certain time, we come to realize the truth of it. When I am working in the infirm school and when many people are being helped through me, it is helpful to me in purifying my vehicles. Because whenever a good deed is done through us, the benefit is our purification and our joy of the vehicles. Whenever we do a good thing, we have the benefit of doing it, and the benefit to others is not due to us, because even in my absence, someone will do the same thing. Sometimes someone may do it better. If I work as a professor in a college, what happens if I come away from my job? Do the students go helpless? It is false. The truth is, someone will do my work many times better than what we do. But what is the benefit of myself working as the professor? It is getting my vehicles purified and expanded. The experience of any good thing done is for the benefit of the one who does it, not for others. Then we enter into the plane called nirvanic plane. Life becomes impersonal, virtues become impersonal, and no more the virtues have a marketing value, because virtues form part of your happiness. You cannot behave otherwise, because you cannot be happy if you behave otherwise. It is for your own happiness that you behave virtuous. This is what is called the nirvanic plane, in which plane you will understand the real meaning of the word I am. Because previously I am means the physical vehicle, and in it the life force is working, in it the mind is working, and the mind is feeling I am. The meaning of I am is this vehicle. That was the meaning when we were in the first three planes of existence. Therefore, in our view, everyone is a separate I am. I am different from yourself, because in that body you are there, in this body I am there, in that body Madam is there. So, I am number 1, I am number 2, I am number 3. In every body we feel a little I am separately. Millions and millions of little fellows saying I am to everyone. So, he says I am right, but she says I am right. There are two rights, a fight for rights. In my opinion, she says, sweets are good to health. And she says, in my opinion, acids are good for health. And he says, there is truth in what he says. She says, there is truth in what she says. According to them, truth means their opinion. So, there are as many millions of truth in this world as there are heads on human necks. This is mock truth. That is how we live when we are in the first three planes of existence. Gradually, you will find that all these vehicles, millions and millions of vehicles, are like little flasks and bottles or vessels placed in a river. In each flask there is water, and the name of the river is I am. And in each flask there is a little of I am. And all the flasks are in I am. And in every flask there is I am. Now, when you come to this fifth stage, this will be the meaning of your word I am. Whenever you utter the word I am, you see how Jesus Christ says, I am the way. This is what he means. He says, I am life. I am resurrection. And God says to Moses, my name is I am that I am. In the Bhagavad Gita, the same Lord says, take refuge in the I am. There is no one greater than me, the I am. That is the meaning of I am in every one of us. When this change takes place in you, your taste of life is quite different from what it is normally. In the first three stages, taste for life means the appetites of the body and mind. That is, what we eat or drink, or what we wear, or the house in which we live, or the money or property which we possess. What we have, that is the meaning. Here, what we are is the meaning, and not what we have. Because what we have is also full of what we are. We are atoms, full of atoms from head to foot, and one of the atoms has become indweller of this body, while some millions of atoms are serving that fellow as the tissues of the body, and the whole thing is called the process of evolution. So this is what we call nirvanic plane, or the one presence in everyone. Then we will understand the real word, meaning of the word love. Previously, it means many dirty things. For sometimes, love means sex. For some time, love means possessing someone. I have great love for my son. He should obey me. That is the dirty meaning of love for some time. That is to possess the son, just as the devil possesses a human being. So, to own something, many dirty meanings we had in the past about love. I love my son so much, I cannot leave him. Therefore, I cannot send him to school. So, the fellow will be a big pig after some time. That is also called love for some time. Sometimes we feel very sorry that the son is away in the school. It is 10 days after my son left me and I cannot sleep. I am very sorry. If the result of love is that we cannot sleep and we are sorry, that means we are idiots in interpreting what love is. So gradually we come to the correct meaning of love when we touch this plane of existence. Real love is that which gives only happiness to you and others. Many times we feel jealous of those whom we loved and we call it love. If my friend is invited by another friend to make a visit to London on holidays, I weep very much that my friend has accepted the invitation of his friend. Because I love my friend very much, he would have cared me more than that friend. This dirty thing we call love. This is jealousy, but we pasted a label wrongly. What happens if I paste a label here, sugar? The content is not sugar. Similarly, there is jealousy inside. We are weeping for the friend. We wanted to possess him, but another friend possessed him. We weep for him and we call it love. I loved my friend very much, but he never cared for me. So, we have many idiotic explanations and definitions of love for many hundreds of years. Finally, we come to the threshold of the real temple, which is real love. And you can enjoy the sight of all the misbehavior of people around you. Just as the mother can forgive the little child when it misbehaves. At the same time, you can wish good for the fellows and you can will good to those who want to listen to you, and you can direct those who are ready to follow you. That is what happens when you reach the nirvanic plane. For the first time you will taste the one existence in everyone, and you will understand that the name I am is that one existence, and that consciousness is called soul by great people. The exact meaning of soul is your consciousness in the love plane, or the fifth plane of existence, the nirvanic plane. And what is it? When it is I am, you can't say I have a soul. You have a body and you are soul. But there are people who say there is soul in me. There cannot be a soul in me because I am the soul. But people use the word soul like the sole under our shoe. people meditate, I have a soul in me. And the result is they will have a little shoe and its soul. Because soul is the one who meditates.